So,
Walaikum salam.
Salam. Good morning.
good morning. So, warmly welcome to all of you for day 2 with element number 2 of NEBOSH IGC. So, yesterday we had detailed discussion why we required health and safety management system, within our companies. And today we have one more important question: how health and safety systems work actually, and what they look like. Yesterday, we made clear our why we need health and safety system, why it is important, what are the legal reasons, financial or even ethical grounds, and how the responsibilities are defined as per ILO conventions and recommendations, especially the responsibilities of employer as well as the employees. That means we, the employees. So ultimately, we found that everyone is responsible for safety, No doubt, the system have to be applied, implemented through the owner of the business. I mean, he is responsible to ensure better workplace or safe workplaces, safe plant and equipment. And of course, he is responsible to ensure the right person for the right job from the start, actually. But today, we have, to be very honest, the most important question, like how health and safety management systems work and what they look like. Like imagine if any brand or any company give us project to all of us as a team, and they just request, can you just establish, develop a safety management system of our company? And we have 500 employees, 50 different machines. We have one warehouse, one separate chemical area, and the overall territorial kind of land we occupy, the covered or uncovered land, more than 30,000 square meter. So can you guys develop and establish our health and safety management system? And if we have a certain capacity and we accept that project, then from where are we going to start at? Because once we agree a project, that means we are going to give them and meeting their expectations and establishing every sort of document which must be part of that health and safety management system. My question is, if we all get this project for any company, even for Saudi Aramco, like even for Royal Commission, I mean, just see how many procedures, SOPs, policies, and several kind of documentation they established, developed. But might be the third-party consultants were there, and they paid maybe millions of real just for system development. My question is, if we get that project, from where are we gonna start actually? We have open discussion for 5 more minutes, and let's see how you respond to it. Like if you are the one going to establish that system, from where, what would be your starting point actually? Over to you, please. I hope you got the point what I'm talking about. A company hired all of us to establish their health and safety management system. But what would be our starting point after signing the contract, by the way?
Yeah, I believe the answer for that question is just finding the minimum requirements and going back to the government regulations. And I'm talking about the ISO related to the type of work. And then after finding the minimum requirements, you will be able to form your management system, because normally the management systems are built based on the requirements for the ISO and the other government regulations.
Absolutely right. We benchmark international standards, or of course, the local legal standards are mandatory for sure to incorporate. Excellent, mashallah. The first thing is the gap analysis. We'll see where that business is standing at this stage, Might be several requirements are already they are meeting with. So we just can have kind of a mock audit, kind of a gap analysis, and moving around, have a tour to the company, verifying different documentation, coming up with detailed gap analysis report. And then we're gonna see in line with the standards we benchmark, either ISO 45001, Occupational Health and Safety Management System, or maybe the SMS of Saudi Aramco, like safety management system requirements as per Saudi Aramco. Sometimes project to project, a lot of variables are there. That means the same system can't be copy paste for every sort of project. So yes, I totally agree, and thank you very much for your great contribution, because this is how we truly need to understand why and how this management system must be developed, implemented, and of course we need to make it sustainable as well, because effective implementation after establishing is one of the most critical part which we truly need to play. It's not like some companies I noted, they give us project, if they are just develop sorry, just develop the safety system in documentation. Implementation is our part. But I noted those companies, they have not very clear idea how to implement actually, because we are the developer. So we would have a better idea how to implement, how to give training against each policy or every procedure, or what things we truly need to guide them logically, technically, and then make sure the right set of implementation is there through some internal training programs, maybe department wise, maybe individual, like one-to-one. Sometime training sessions are also important, like you train one guy and he will be responsible to ensure further penetration within the system. But imagine if that system is not developed efficiently. Like as an auditor, sometime I noted the SOP technically have still a lot of opportunities for improvement. Like you guided in the SOP, let's take an example of rigging and lifting process. You guided in the SOP maybe 20 different steps, but in fact, they are taking maybe more than 50 steps. So that means your SOP still lacking 30 more points actually, which you truly need to guide in steps. How you have to do safe rigging and lifting, in line with your safety management system actually. What I mean is that is why the value of consultants still there. Even if you have a safety manager, he will not sometimes get time to develop all those documentation. That is why you hire a consultant like a third party, and he will work maybe for 3 months, maybe for 6 months. He'll be working with you, supporting to you, establishing different documentation, getting approval from the top management. Having said that, he would be like a leading person maybe for 3 or 4 months, or maybe for 6 months as per the size of your organization. But ultimately, the goal is to develop a comprehensive and efficient occupational health and safety management system, But bear in mind, any management system you are going to establish, remember the tool PDCA. I repeat again, any management system standards or kind of system you are going to develop, remember the cycle PDCA. That means we start from the plan, do, check, act. And for a comprehensive planning, we truly need gap analysis, or some data must be there. Without data, how come we can create a better plan, And even planning for that gap analysis should also be there. It's not like any activity you're going to start without plan actually. So make sure planning is there. So first step is the plan. And then once the plan as a direction is quite clear to all of us, and it's all agreed who will do what, when, where, why, and how he gonna do it, then just follow that plan. And follow that plan means implement, do it. The second word is do. Whatever plan items you have in the plan, now make sure you are executing the plan, in a right direction. And of course, the moment we do things, we again really have to check either something is still missing or any further chances of or opportunities for further improvements. We truly need to verify, whatever we implemented, or like we implemented maybe 100 different procedures. So then have some checking, maybe through internal audits, maybe some on-site inspections.
And also, what you need from BBBs, like what's the light BBBs you can use, for example, for the harness when you're working at the height, which
Yes.
type of BBBs, and also what's the harnesses you need. Make sure inspected, not something
Absolutely.
like that.
Complete
Yeah.
safe system of work for every process actually.
Yes.
And sometime I noted again as an auditor, because I get several projects as an auditor, but the things we don't get comprehensive benefits from our third party inspectors even. What is our intention? Just come and put the sticker and your job is done. We don't need anything else from you. That means we are not getting benefit because they are the expert one, but because of our shortcut nature, they are just coming, changing a sticker and having some sort of positive points and making reports, and it's all done. But in fact, there are still certain gaps, because that inspection is not done effectively. Several cases I personally observed. In the inspection, everything is good. Even I noted for fire safety management system, like fire protection system is implemented, but in documentation, the third party have mentioned everything is okay. But the moment I personally verified, can you show me, can you just start your hose, the fire hose, and let me see the water pressure? What should be the minimum pressure, and how do you know that pressure? Do you have some pressure gauges inbuilt with the system? How do you ensure the water tank is always, in line with your requirements actually? So several gaps. What I mean is even several sprinklers at certain point were not working. Some fire extinguishers, just double sticker even I noted, like one tag is there, the previous date, and the company provided the stickers to the, that third party company. They provided stickers even to the client actually. And what he's doing, putting the new sticker with new dates. But inside fire extinguisher is all over. And they simply damn care about the needle also. Sometimes that is another. I mean, they have no idea. If the needle is in the red zone, how come you can change your sticker? So basically, people, they have mostly the area to play with, that is safety. And the moment you start playing with safety, you started willingly to get, God forbid, terrible kind of accidents or incidents, or maybe several near misses, because you are accepting plenty of shortcuts, by yourself. Several companies I noted, they came for pest control management, but in fact, several areas without spray, without, proper management. Because if you have a fly killer light, let's take an example. If that light is not still catching the flies, that means this light is not suitable to that environment, or maybe expired already. I mean, if you are implementing a pest control system, that means that area should be pest free, Several companies, they have pest control system, but I personally noted a lot of cats, mice, and several rats I noted. In the warehouse, I noted even, this kind of pigeons and several other birds, and they have houses inside the warehouse. But in the pest control management system, it's all okay. I'm talking the ground realities. That is why we, sometimes face a lot of penalties. Sometimes we, lost several our projects because once trust broken, it's broken forever. One of the company I still remember, they gave us a project for CSR. We call it corporate social responsibility, in line with SA 8000, Social Accountability Standard, under SAI. So we were there to benchmark and implement and developing all the procedures and make sure all the requirements are well in place. Just one requirement, we all were tried hard, but unfortunately, because of high demands, we were unable to do it actually, and top management, they were not agreeing. And what was that violation? Only the overtime. Like the Saudi legal law says, 2 hours per day the overtime must be there. Above than 2 hours is a violation. Now the company sometimes have 4 hours overtime, sometimes 6 hours, like this actually. And that violation, one of the brand, I don't want to quote the name, but it's a food brand. Like we have McDonald's, Starbucks, we have Nestle, we have several other, we have another group of companies, even Almarai. So they are the food brands actually. And the most terrible part, right after 6 months, because they gave us several time slots to find the solution, but top management, they took it light, just kind of a lighter mood. And right after 6 months, I still remember all the POs were cancelled and hold up even from that brand actually. And then company shredded up and immediately implemented 2 hours per day. While before they were not ready for that, the moment they got a heavy punch on their business, automatically they went on track. And luckily we were the consultant, and the moment that requirement was fulfilled, we got 100% compliance in CSR. And that was that was not an easy ordinary achievement, to be very honest, especially in Saudi Arabia, where sometime I noted you need 50 employees. Your project required 50 employees, but company is stressing to complete that project with 30 employees. And sometimes it is hard to get the right person for the right job for those projects, So you rely on the existing 31 and just, make sure they are fulfilling the requirements. So bear in mind, sometimes we violate systematic requirements, but a day come, we start losing business projects, our credibility in the market, and most importantly, hard to retain the employees also. Because if your business will go down, employees will realize this is the time to leave this company and move to another one, because this company is going to be disaster maybe near future. Employees are very much tricky, by the way, because they can realize what is the right time to leave that company. So it's very much important to work on ethical grounds and maintaining our trust with all the interested parties, not only with the customers, even with the legal bodies like government of Saudi Arabia. If they are coming to visit our company, we must warmly welcome them, rather than we will be hiding several things and running here and there. If we are honest, if we are not doing anything or no violations are there, why should we be scared actually? We should warmly welcome them, and also we should tell them, please, you are a third eye, we warmly welcome to you. Please have a detailed look into our system and let us know if there are any gaps. We are ready for further improvement. What you are doing, if this government bodies, the moment you'll behave like this, if they have to visit every month, they will not come even within next 6 months actually, because the trust is well built because of your honesty. And sometimes people say honesty is the best policy, but what I realize, honesty is the only policy. You can't survive, you can't have a evergreen survival without honesty actually. Rather than playing with the customer and thinking, they don't realize. Like, how come your contractors can play with Sadara, I mean, of course, you are at the top. So you will definitely see which supplier, which contractor are playing with us and what they are not doing, you know, according to our expectations. You have complete analysis kind of inspection database and detailed data analyzers even on board. Data scientists now being hired also, you know. So how come someone can play with his customers actually? Several contractors I noted, you know, oh, Saudi Aramco, you know, they don't have time to watch us. Because they're not watching, they're giving you some time slot and giving you some opportunity to please be on track. Don't play with us. And the moment their LPD, the loss prevention department, the moment they will observe, the supplier is blacklisted. The contractor is no more in the database. Then they realize why that health and safety management system was important to follow and avoiding any violations, especially to our customer standards as well. That is why, you know, we try to develop and benchmark several international standards to establish our health and safety management system by developing certain different plans, policies, objectives, KPIs, several procedures, SOPs, even manual, safety manual, as well as we try hard to develop different records, but after implementation of several formats, and then we train, we have a training records, then we audit different systematic procedures, and we have internal auditing like kind of records. We conduct several safety inspections. So we have a safety database available, and we have safety meetings also. And in shape of minutes of meeting, also we kept different records. If any accident happened, God forbid, we have a full investigation procedure on board, and we investigate and create several records, you know. So all are the evidences that our system is working, and we are keeping the not the fake records, the genuine records against our any sort of discrepancies we have in our system. And we day to day verifying. Several companies, they have safety technicians or safety inspectors area wise. Like you are the only fire safety inspector, not like a fire warden, separate fire safety inspector. And his job is every day, you know, just making sure there isn't any chance of fire incidents. And he'll be guiding, he'll be visiting to the chemical areas, to the storage areas, like warehouses. He'll be making sure no broken switch, no naked wire, just fire safety is focused. No poor housekeeping anywhere, no accumulation, no oil spillage, no accumulation of dust, especially within the machines. So we'll be double checking the shop floor management also, because ultimately all those factors will be helping to avoid or to prevent us from fire incidents. And several companies I noted, they have separate inspector only for, you know, the machines, the heavy equipments or the power tools, you know. None of the other job he has. He's just wandering near to the machines, verifying while machines are running, and he will be kept silent, by the way, standing like this and observing what is going on. And maybe sometime shoot a video and then come back in the office and evaluating if anything is terrible, not meeting the safety requirements, and then he'll prepare the report and sharing to the concerned departments. So this is how our safety management system should work, and it should be look like, you know, we call it visual management, that everywhere the system should talking to us. I repeat again, the system in each area within each process should be talking to us. If I'm coming to your company like Sadara, I'm going to visit Sadara inshallah. So your chemical storage area should talk to me. How many chemicals are there? What are there? Like all labels are there, you know, in which rack, how much different chemicals are stored in, and most importantly, which chemical is more hazardous. The label should be highlighting. That means the system should talking to me. Rather than I'm asking what is inside, what is this chemical all about, the label should be talking to me, or you must have SDS, we call it safety data sheet, well displayed. If you are working with Saudi Aramco, CHB, like chemical hazard bulletin, must be displayed. So system should talk to us. Even in several companies as a consultant, We achieve that target the moment we get into your company. All processes should talk to us directly. How? By we're putting some nameplates of that process. We hang them up just at the entering point. We can see what is going on within the whole like maybe 100 or 300 or 500 or maybe 1000 square meter area. What is going on? We can easily observe. This is a process like welding is going on, or maybe some other processes, drilling, cutting, or something like that. The system is talking to us. So we call it visual management, and this is kind of Japanese housekeeping techniques like 5S also. We can implement that too, before and after concept. So the system, how it should work, that is entirely depends on our caliber, our mindset, our seriousness, our solid commitment, especially the top management commitment. Then we can prove, look, this is how our HSC system is working actually. You don't need to speak so much. Oh, this is how we are doing. This is how we are doing. The system should talk to us. I hope you got the point. Rather than we are asking plenty of questions and the silly questions, by the way, which you can just display something and we can see what is going on. I hope it will give you some clear understanding how the safety system should work. Now, let's move on with the NEBOSH theories, what they are guiding to us, how that system should work. And they will start, of course, with some learning objectives of that element. First learning objective is give an overview of the elements of an occupational health and safety management system and the benefits of having a formal certified system. Sometimes instead of sending plenty of documentation to your customer, much better to certify your system and share that certificate with your client that we are certified for as per like ISO 45001. We are certified for 9001 like quality management system. We also have certification of 14001 like environmental management system. So rather than sharing bonanza of documentation, you are just sharing the evidence. That is why he mentioned, the benefits of having a formal certified system, and it is a great help, especially in the bidding requirement, just to meet the bidding requirement, like to go for bidding for any project with any customer. Of course, rather than bringing a lot of documentation, it's much better to submit your certifications of your system. Now, discuss the main ingredients of occupational health and safety management system that make it effective, like policy, responsibilities, arrangements, how it should look like. So let's start with 2.1. This is kind of occupational health and safety management system. As we discussed, the PDCA is the starting point, not only for occupational health and safety management system, even for every sort of management system, either quality for either, environment or food safety, or we design system like based on ISO 29001 relevant to oil and gas management system, or 13485 relevant to Medicare requirements, whatever standard we benchmark, but make sure it all starts with PDCA. That means plan what you are going to do, plan it, and then do it, because plan is your direction. Then follow that direction and do it, implement your plan. And then of course you need to check, you need to double check, you need to deeply check that what is still some gaps, lacks, or kind of opportunities for further improvement, that what you are doing is working, or still you need to put more efforts. No, based on that, you need to act. If you find some gaps or some observations or kind of opportunities for further improvement, then act on it actually. Create an action plan and make sure that action plan is also working, and then replan. So this cycle, plan, do, check, act. It's not like one time planning is done and later on no review of that plan, no updation of that plan. So make sure this PDCA cycle is moving in well direction. Now we have two domains. Either we design a system as per ILO OHSMS 2001, or as per ISO 45001, or as per Saudi Arabian legal local regulations, or as per our customer standards, whatever standards you benchmark. Let's take example of ILO. First of all, what they believe is the first document is the policy. Then you need to implement kind of organizing things, then planning and implementing. You surely have to evaluate and also actions for improvement. So the black line is all about the information link, and whatever you are implementing, make sure it is well controlled also. Here, to be straightforward, sometime I noted, sir, you are the general manager of this company, mashallah. And I noted it's a good thing you have signed your safety policy. But do you know what was written inside within this policy? Oh, sorry, Mr. Ishtiaq, I don't have time, for reading all these documents. Now we have a safety manager. That was the statement. Like, imagine if I'm signing a policy, but not even bothering what is written inside. While on the other side is a promise, it's a commitment, it's a framework. And you are going to publish through your website, through your emails, in meetings and toolbox meetings, sharing with your contractors, with all the interested parties. And the signatory is telling, I don't know what is written inside. No time to read even. Now, if that policy is approved and displayed everywhere, now you go back and ask your employees even, do you know what is written in our safety policy? What is all about? 99% the answer would be no. We don't have any idea what is written inside. What promises we have done, through our top management. That means the policy is displayed, the policy is established, signed, implemented, even displayed, communicated with all the interested parties. But very few truly understand what is written inside. That is why in the WhatsApp group, I shared one of the example policy, as per HSE gov.uk, just to give you some understanding how that policy should look like. So policy means, yes, it must be developed, it must be implemented, signed. After signing, you need to implement, but make sure it is understood by all the interested parties, or especially your employees, They truly understand the value, or for each word, whatever written inside the policy. They must realize it's kind of a direction, it's a framework for our business, for our system, And then also, the policy must be reviewed. Sometime I noted, no review at all. Like if a policy is established in 2020, okay, 2018, like let's take an example. And now it's 2021. And for the last 3 years, no review of that policy. And the same date is published and not a single word you change. While COVID has came in, pandemic is there. Might be you purchase plenty of machines, might be more project sites, but you never review your policy. So that means this policy have to be reviewed as well. Then organizing, planning and implementation, evaluation and actions for improvement. This is as per ILO OHSMS 2001, and everything need to be audited. System means must be audited as well. Now, what is policy? It's kind of a clear statement of commitment to health and safety that will not violate any legal laws, will not harm to the environment, will ensure 100% safety of our employees, will give proper trainings to our employees, will make sure, we are meeting the regulatory or the customer requirements, will make sure our policy is well understood at all functions of our, you are writing very detailed kind of statements in your policy, just to highlight your commitment. Now, organizing means you have to establish the roles and responsibilities, who will do what and how and where. roles and responsibilities for health and safety at all levels in the organization. That means organizing is very much important as per ILO OSH 2001. I'll try to download that standard and will share inshallah in the WhatsApp group. Now, planning and implementing detailed arrangement to manage health and safety, kind of like risk assessments. We can't plan without data, right? And how to collect data? We can start from risk assessment or kind of gap analysis or detailed arrangement to manage health and safety. Evaluation is kind of a method to monitor and review the effectiveness of the arrangements. Audit is independent, critical, and systematic review of. It's a systematic review of management system. Now, here I would like to create a question. What is the difference between inspection and auditing? I repeat again, what is the difference between auditing and inspection? Over to you, please. Whatever your understanding, let's try to learn from each other, inshallah. The difference between inspection and auditing. Like auditing is kind of independent, critical, and systematic review of the management system. Now, what is inspection then? Anyone, please. Anyone, please.
Inspection, in my opinion, inspection, it will be in the same time of the activity.
Okay.
The auditing will be after completing the activity, and inspection while the activity is going on.
Okay. Brilliant, mashallah. So that means the spot kind of inspections for any activity is called inspection. Okay. Or inspection of activities or checking or verifying or monitoring, on-spot monitoring of several different activities is called inspection. And it's a regular kind of activity. You don't need to plan, you can have unannounced, undeclared, or even anytime you can inspect any activity, any project, or any area of your company. But audit is a systematic review, even though it would be sampling based, because otherwise a lot of time would be required if you start checking every point of your system. So audit is kind of a systematic, like you start from policy and you end with management review, and you find out either the system is working well, all the procedures are in line with the system, well implemented, being followed, yes or no. So procedural testing or procedural review of your management system is called audit in a systematic way, and activity inspection or verifying or checking an activity is called inspection. Now, action for improvement. The moment you do inspection or audit, of course, you get some chances for improvement. So truly you need to take action for improvement. Now, steps to correct issues found in the review, and also continual improvement, like the SMS will develop over time, safety management system will develop over time. This is continuous improvement or continual improvement process should go on and on. That is the real purpose. Like every day, some small improvements. Every day we need to find out an area how we can improve it. Like we have sometime the process safety engineers, and they are the best guidance, by the way, how that process can be more safer, what kind of technical integration we can apply or implement and make this particular process even on the machine more safer. Otherwise, we can benchmark kind of ISO standards. Anybody remember what is ISO stands for? Any one of you, please? Yesterday, I think somewhere we discussed what is ISO stands for. And what is the role of ISO?
ISO is the International Standards Organization.
Excellent, mashallah. And what they do?
They set the benchmark they set the benchmark and the requirements for for different type of works. They have standards for safety, where it has the requirements for the environment, for operational, for example, 9001, for calibration as well. So from different scope of works.
Excellent. So as per the type of nature of our organization or products, ISO is helping us to benchmark several standards and give us a structured approach to establish a required system actually, as per the need of our business. So that means they are the standards developers. And they have technical committees. Like if they are going to develop, suppose ISO 45001. So surely they have to establish a technical committee, and the technical committee indeed would have, several members from different countries, like almost above than 100 countries or maybe more than that are already technical partner of ISO. Like for Saudi Arabia, SASO is our department, like our SASO division is working with ISO. Like in Pakistan, we have PNAC, Pakistan Accreditation National, Council is there. So they are working with, or they are the member of ISO body directly. So they form a technical committee for a particular direction, for a particular standard to develop, and then that committee will establish kind of a draft version, and then will publish in the market, and will get the feedback. And if the feedback is all the way is good enough, and or maybe some further changes required, and even our input as a consultant or the certification bodies or the auditors, they also give respect if something is solid there. And once all interested parties are okay with that, they'll publish this ISO standards and launch globally. And of course we can benchmark either is relevant to safety or environment or food safety or oil and gas or somewhat, product wise, even several standards are there. If I gonna request you, can you prepare a list of ISO standards, or can you search list of ISO standards? How many standards you're gonna find? List of ISO standards before, like we have ISO 45001. What other standards we have? Let me also find out online if I can download and share with all of you. You can also try. List of ISO standards. I just shared one in the group. List of ISO standards. Now we can go to ISO website, and maybe we can find more comprehensive list from their side. ISO have differentiated some of the popular standards. Separately, they are listed. If we are having a laboratory, which ISO standard can help us? If we are oil and gas company, which standards can help us? If we are kind of IT company, so which information information security management system can help us, like ISO 27001? If we are manufacturer of medical devices, so which ISO standard can support us like ISO 13485. And if we have testing and calibration laboratories, 17025 ISO can also help us. If we need food safety, so ISO 22000 can help us. If we require social accountability system, management system, then ISO 26001 can help us. If we just want to understand in a structured way about risk management, then ISO 31001 can help us. Even for anti-bribery, they have a standard like 37001. Even for energy management like 50001. So I'm going to share this link with all of you also. I'm just trying to give you some idea, something we need to benchmark. Before even we start developing our system, some standards we need to benchmark. And the best standards are the globally acceptable, globally recognized, certifiable. Those standards we must try to benchmark for establishing our management systems. Like ISO 45001 is all about occupational health and safety management standard, and it have 10 clauses starting from context of the organization, where they're going to discuss external and internal issues of the business, context of the organization, what exactly your organization does, and scope of the occupational management system, and also the needs and expectations of workers and other interested parties. So once you have all this data, you can plan. You can complete your plan if you have that much data available, or you research and you understood your organization, then start planning. And then of course, you required leadership and worker participation, number 5 clause. Number 6 is all about planning, and then support and operation like 7 and 8, and performance evaluation is number 9, and 10 is improvement. So PDCA is circulating all 10 clauses in line with the ISO 45001. So that was end of module 2.1. We discussed what are the key elements of the ILO OSH health and safety management system. The answer was already discussed in the presentation.